Alright, moving up to the front here. The headlight itself is going to get reworked a little bit, and then this fender is going to get mounted too. But what I'm going to quickly knock out tonight, because it's already getting kind of late, the brackets that I have, I really love the way this light looks up front, especially with the little old school grill. But as you can see, I think probably this light hits on the ignition housing right here. It always has, and I've scooched it up as far as I could, but the brackets that I have, I like everything about it, where it sits, the angles, the way it looks, but it hits right on this corner. So since I have everything taken apart, I think what I'm going to do real quick tonight is kind of just shave this down, but there's no real, there's no structural integrity in there, there's no components, it's just literally the housing. I really don't know what function this serves, but I'm just going to take that corner off and kind of round this out a little bit, that way I can get another 3/8 of an inch up. Alright, so I took that down pretty significantly, kind of rounded it out a little bit, took some of those sharp points off. Alright, I'm still hitting a pretty good amount right here, so I gotta take some more off. It's still not exactly, that's too high too, that's gonna be pointing more down. That's better. Still not exactly what I want. I guess what I probably need is like a shallow, low pro light, but I do like the fullness of this one. I like the way, I like where it's at from the side. This front fender is gonna be raised too, so never mind that being too low. But I like where that's at, I like its angle. What I think I'm going to try and do though, I was kind of looking at it and thinking about it, might be a little bit different. I think my issue is this right here. I think I'm going to kind of offset it, and it might look asymmetrical, but I'm cool with that. What I have to do is I have to put a kink in this bracket right here, that way it can push driver side and then straighten back out to mount flush, and then this one will be turned out and its bend will be the opposite way. Of course, it looks totally ridiculous without anything on it, but from the front, it's slightly offset. I think it could be kind of cool. Not everything has to be perfect. And then that shifts us just far enough where I'm now clearing that, what this is, so the ignition key is obviously here, but this is the lock mechanism for the neck. So let's see if I can kind of show you up underneath here. Now, you turn the wheels, and this right here are a bunch of holes, where once you turn the key all the way, it kicks out the positive block that kicks out into these holes. That way, if somebody tries to steal your bike, they're gonna have to push it in fucking circles or pick up the front end. At this point, I don't even know where we're at in the series of videos. I've kind of been bouncing around all over the place. Fender, redoing the air box, redoing the air cleaner, messing with the wiring, bending up the front lights. Today now it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm out here in my underwear because I don't feel like putting on real clothes. But what I wanted to knock out real quick was, I was gonna just put film on this light, but I hate this stupid halo thing. It just, whatever, it worked for when I had it. I do like the shape of it. So they make the same light in the same housing, and then they actually already had it in the yellow, so I figure instead of me trying to like put the film, which is almost like window tint, on here, I'll just buy the damn thing already yellow, and I do think that looks pretty sweet. Oops, that came off. But that on the black already, I'm really happy with that yellow look. I think that's gonna be cool. So what I'm doing this evening, this came with this plug that does me no good. I don't know what this is for, it doesn't matter. But like I did on this one, I gotta put some other butt connectors on there. I'm gonna do the same for this, and then hopefully button all this up. Okay. Okay, let us do the test of the light. All right, yellow. Okay, blue. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so hot. Ow, tick. And last but not least, the green. Could I have just bought a 3-pin plug? Yep. Did I? Nope. Wow. That is nice. Let's see if my brights work. Oh, I think, all right, that's my low beam. That's my high beam. Probably blasting you, blinding you out, but cool. Yes, that looks so good. Okay. All right, let's start. Good. Okay. And you up a little bit. Very cool, old school guard scrambler style thing. Dude, fuck yeah. That's cool looking. I don't care who you are. Something's gonna happen. Dude, sweet. That's gotta be angled down more. Dude, sweet. Oh yeah. Man, the internet's cool, but if you're not rocking old school, legit service manuals, you are wrong, my boy. So, what I'm a little confused about on that is which wire is supposed to be high beam and which is supposed to be low beam. So, came to electrical. Headlight, 6-tack-24. Good. Let's see if we can figure it out. Alright, had to do a little deducing, and I won't bore you with all the science of it because it's not anything earth-shattering. But the manual didn't specifically say which wires going to the headlight itself were which. What I could find was coming off the dimmer selection switch was the yellow and the white. Yellow being the bright and white being the low beam. Let me double check that before I lie to you. White is low beam, yellow is high beam, and then I had the old multimeter to verify what I was dealing with, and that black to white is actually my ground. So then that goes to the green of my neutral. I don't know where my little piece of paper went for the wiring diagram for this guy, but then I just matched them up. Now we're in good shape. And then you can see up here my indicators, my little brights, and low beams. All right, we're in business. Now I just need turn signals. Now let me explain something about these turn signals. As I understand it, this is my first time doing it to one of these Suzukis, but as you can imagine, switching incandescent to LEDs changes the electric formula of everything. I'm certainly no electrical engineer, but I am familiar with LEDs and the fact that they need certain resistance. It's not as straightforward. Your system can't be loaded the same way that systems with incandescent bulbs are. Don't ask me for the specifics. I just know that when you convert all these lights to LEDs, it changes things in the system. Specifically, when you start messing with flashers, because something with the load of the flasher unit reads incandescent differently than LEDs. LEDs don't have enough resistance. It doesn't trigger the little ticker in there. So there's no shortage of forums for these things. You can go and research it yourself. What I'm just providing here is a little bit of insight on actually looking at the thing. You can read words all day like I have done, but hopefully this video, if nothing else, can give you a visual for the parts that you need to touch on this bike to make it work. So like I've talked about a few times, LED turn signals, nothing fancy in the rear. I got them up front. What I did was I ran these through here, and then I believe, because I converted these a long time ago, I just hadn't gotten it functioning perfectly. These are the pigtails off the stock light, so my plugs are all the same. Here, these little 2-wire plugs, and then I mark mine. I'm a big paint marker guy, so you're gonna see this a ton, whether I'm torquing something or need to just annotate things on wires. That's my hot, that's my ground. There's my 2 there. And then up front, same deal. I just reuse the pigtails. Now, again, as you could deduce, over here, let's see, on this bike, right turn signal is black with white stripe for ground, per usual, common all around. But right turn signal is this minty green, just like back here, minty green. I don't know if you can see that. I got you strapped to my head, and I think it's like in fisheye mode. So hopefully you guys can see these details I'm talking about. And then on the left turn signal, it's black. I don't think there's a tracer on there. No, there's no tracer marker on it. And then back here, it's real tight up in the harness. They don't give you much slack, but it's black there. So right now, if I were to have the stock flasher module in there, when I hit my turn signals, it would just go, all 4 would come on and they'll stay on. You know what? Screw it. I'll show you. I said I was gonna, so let's do it. Stock module, stock flasher. Try to put on your turn signals. Solid, no flash. Something about this guy doesn't read the load properly, so then you have to get aftermarket ones. Now, I have this relay here, but I have a new one coming because this one's not plug and play, and I don't want to cut my harness up any more than I already have. I'll show you the new one when it comes. But it goes in the same spot, which is another pro because this one does not fit, and it utilizes the stock plug. In the meantime, this is one that will work. So you can see my crazy wire dealio. I've got these alligator clips with little spikes in there so that you don't have to cut apart a harness. You can just isolate a wire, crimp it on there, it'll bite through the insulation, and then you can get readings. Now, I'm not using a multimeter to take any readings, so I need alligator clips to something else. So what do? I improvise. So I got my alligator, or I guess, I don't know what to really call this, I suppose, but I've got the jaws on there. It goes to a fitting for a multimeter. I've got double-ended alligator clips so that I can attach them to things and be hands-free. What I do is I attach one mouth to that plug in there, and then I take my other one, and this one's on the blue wire. I mark this terminal, that's the blue wire. Over here, same deal, but I went opposite because I don't want my holes. This will leave tiny little holes initially, and then they kind of just morph back into their insulation, but I don't even want to risk it. So I put my other reading here, same deal, goes to this connector, alligator on the terminal, up to this point. So I'll show you. Turn signals now flash. The flasher module will get them to flash properly. Okay, now what you have to do, and there's conflicting things all over the internet. Again, this is the first time I'm trying it. I'm not saying this is the only way. What I've got on the way now is a diode kit. So evidently what the issue is through here, the indicator lamp is not providing enough resistance, or rather, let me back up on that. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but what is happening is power's backfeeding through this indicator lamp, and I guess it powers all 4. Now, what you need is the diode kit, and basically if you don't know what diodes are, they only let the current flow in one direction, or only let the power flow in one direction. So what you end up doing is cutting into the indicator lamp. There's only 2 wires. Find a good spot to do it in the harness. You cut them both. The diode kit is kind of a Y connector. Let me see if I can draw it over here. Don't worry about my hot water issue. That has since been resolved. Okay, indicator lamp. Boing, 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 boing. 2 wires coming out all the way into the harness. What you end up doing is you cut them, okay? And then this one goes to ground, or whichever one. You got to figure out which one's which. And then the diode kit connects It's got a 1 to 2. Now I don't have it in person, so I can't exactly explain how it works yet. That'll be a future video. But basically this wishbones, and you'll still get your indicator light via power coming up and then to ground. But this won't let things backfeed to all 4 LED turn signals anymore. So that's what's on the way. That's a 2-part solution for converting LEDs onto these Dr. 650s. Okay, another day out in the shop. Today is diode day. I kind of got started without recording and then realized I should probably capture a little bit of this. So just for ease of working on this, I'm pulling out this whole indicator pigtail. It's just that little Allen head bolt that holds it down, and then the rubber grommet holds it around the ignition neck, at least on these Suzukis. What I need to do, like I talked about in that last video, it's very simple. It's just nicely manufactured. You could probably do this yourself, but I gotta wire this guy in. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so where I'm at, like I explained in that last video, you gotta find a known ground. So on my harness, the center light here is my turn signal indicator, okay? But it just has the 2 signal wires, no ground. Basically, it just tells this thing to flash. The light next to it, which is my brights indicator, I noticed has a black with black with white stripe, which is ground for the rest of the bike. So I'm like, okay, let's verify that this is a ground that I can tap into. Come down to the plug, identify that this right top wire is my black with white stripe. So here's another tool demonstration. If you don't have one of these, they are dirt cheap at Harbor Freight. It's just a little continuity tester. So I've got my alligator clip on the ground side of my battery. It's got a little AA in there. And what happens is when you're testing for continuity, and you do have continuity, it basically completes the circuit and a little bulb inside there turns on. So I'll show you real quick. Looking for continuity. I just want to verify that this is a ground. There you go. Kind of faint. Oop. You can see it. She turns on right there. So now I know that this wire, this black with white stripe, is a good ground. So what I'll probably do is when I fork these off with my diode, one of them has to go to ground. So I'll probably just bring that over to this black with white stripe and then tap into that one. And then the other wire will be where my fork goes. I'll explain that here more in a second. All right, I got this all set up, ready to test, so let's walk through it real quick. Also, by the way, I found the wiring diagram further in the back of my service manual. I know before I was trying to do wire diagnostics just based off of a diagram in the front, which was more like troubleshooting. But I kept flipping back and happened to stumble upon this, so this is what I was really after. Anyway, okay, so I talked about this a little bit on the whiteboard, but now that it's here and I'm about to test it, I'll explain it one more time. So the turn signal indicator panel right there, it's got 3 bulbs. The turn signal doesn't have a ground associated with it. It's just basically the 2, it's the continuous power signal wire that comes through and tells this thing to illuminate. Now, this diode kit does one of a couple things. So I know I explained it briefly earlier, but diodes are like a check valve for current. And it's basically shaped like a wishbone. What I did was this black with green wire and the solid black come off the turn signal lamp. What you have to do so that it doesn't continuously backfeed and illuminate all the indicators, you put this Y-shaped diode in there, and then you take the other leg that you cut, and I'm taking that over to my high beam ground. So that'll tap in there, okay? I'm about to test this, so while I was looking for other electronic components, I found these little temporary terminal guys, which are just super easy for setting up things like this, just to test stuff. So I've got my, like I said, I've got my black with green stripe and my black, straight black going in to the 2 wires of my diode kit. That comes to a single black with green wire. Okay, now the black wire, the other wire coming off the indicator lamp is going to go straight to ground. Now when this is all finally set up, it's going to go to my high beam ground, but for now I'm just going to directly put it to the battery. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I got this thing temporarily hanging where it should be. Let's look at the wiring diagram, or just the wiring itself. Here's my little test setup. It's plugged into the harness where it should be, and then the ground I have with my alligator clips going back to the battery. So right now I've got the stock flasher module in there. We'll see if it works. I put this guy back in because when I test fit the other one, I have to have all kinds of other wire connectors and shit splicing into other wires. So just for simplicity, I got that in there. We're gonna see how this thing behaves. All right. All right. Okay, so it's flashing fast, which I think is probably because of this, and the new one's on the way. Okay. Does the left work? Sure does. Too cool. Ah, shit, knocked over my manual. Sweet. Okay, so basically, as I understand it, this check valve basically allows power to only flow up through to the light, and then the other leg off this light is grounded. So whereas before it would come up and then flow back down and then everything would be stuck, it would overwhelm the flasher module. Now power can only flow one way, and one of these is for left, one of these is for right. It allows it to come up, flash this indicator light, and then out the other side it goes to ground. Again, I'm not an electrical engineer. Hopefully what I'm saying kind of makes sense. Even if I am screwing these theories completely up, you can now at least see what needs to go where to make your LED turn signals work on this bike. And then this is also proof, really you only need the diode kit. If you don't care about the fast flashing, you can still use your stock flasher module. I mean, we're doing it right now. I have the other flasher module on the way anyway. We'll see if that fixes its flasher speed. But nonetheless, right here, living proof, this is the moneymaker for LEDs on these bikes. All right, so the harness is all finalized. Well, as far as the wiring, and then I gotta get the wrap all down, but about to do its final test. And then also today, the new flasher module showed up. So that's in its little holster pocket there, plugged in. We're about to test everything together here. So let's see how it ends up working. Alright, so just one solo plug there. Boom. We'll put this kind of just on display. And then turn our key. Alright, our neutral light's on. Let's see about it right there. Hey! Okay. Here we go. So now I got a normal flash speed, front and rear. And I have a normal flash there. Other side, you can't see it, but cool. So that proves that. For the flashers to flash, you need the diode kit, because the turn signal indicator lamp is really the culprit. And then to get the right speed flash, you need the new flasher module. Alright, well, this thing has turn signals, which has been on the to-do list for several years now. Between the fender and the no tail lights, or I'm sorry, no turn signals, I kind of just lost interest in riding this, because it's one of those things you're like, it's just kind of embarrassing. Don't really want to ride it around. Just looks half thrown together, not working properly. Just like having my shit operational, and it wasn't for a long time. So super stoked to have my turn signals back, so people can see what the hell I'm trying to do. I'm also super stoked on how that rear fender turned out. I'm super stoked on this front yellow headlight. I think it's all come together just pretty rad. Like I said, kind of that like modern dirt bike scrambler tracker feel. Let's see, I think over here, oh, I put it right here in my binder. I wanted to do this. Stock 2008 Dr. 650. What I came up with. Actually pretty happy with it. I'm excited to ride this thing again. Also got fresh meat on the back here, fresh new tire. Had that balanced. Not worth taking a video of. Changing a tire, you can just look that one up on your own. But now all that's left is I want to figure out, I want to put a front fender back on this thing. So something kind of like that, and then do a little bit better job tucking that up in there. But I knew this fender was going to be a project, but I redid all the wiring harness stuff, tucked it up in there nicely. I didn't bother capturing that on video, and then I have a little plug here for trickle charger. I still got to do the wiring on this side, but all in all, pretty stoked on how this bike turned out. Like I said, I got this last little project here, but I can ride it right now, save me some money on gas, and be proud of this thing. I think it's pretty rad. Too cool. All right, thanks guys. Catch you on the next project.